Welcome to another Road to Recovery with your host, Recovery Lord, um, where we do daily topics. We focus on staying strong in our recovery. One thing I wanted to share before we got into today's message, I just got my Dr. Sebi Herbal Bible 3-in-1. So what I plan on doing is writing a group or maybe multiple groups and have it be like nourishment and being on the right track as far as health wise. If you have been doing certain things for a certain amount of years, done a certain amount of damage, well, sometimes we can repair ourselves instead of waiting to go to the hospital, and instead of waiting to go to the doctor. Sometimes they say the best medicine is preventative medicine, which is why I got this Dr. Sebi Herbal Bible. I bought it off of Facebook. At first, I thought they burnt me because it took a while to get here, but it's finally here. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Again, don't forget to like, comment, share this. Y'all been doing a good job sharing and commenting. So what do I want to talk about today? I would like to talk about recovery and relationships. Recovery and relationships. How about that? And before we get into this reading, into this recipe, understand that one, people cannot know you more than you know yourself. They can't know you deeper than the depths that you know yourself. So before you try to relate to someone else, you need to know who you are. 1. 2. Relationships are bigger and deeper than just the person that you're in a situationship, a frenemy, or your significant other. Your relationships is deeper than just the person you lay in the bed next to every night. Your relationships with your family, with your aunts, with your uncles, with your children. And yes, more importantly, your relationship with yourself. Are you comfortable in your own skin? So, let's begin. Relationships are a necessary component of living one's best life. They are needed to create deep bonds for companionship and to provide the needed emotional support needed to thrive post-rehab. I won't just say post-rehab, but just period. Your relationships will be looked at in the world of recovery as your support system. And it doesn't matter who you got working with you as a shareholder in your recovery. If you don't have a strong support system, then some of those measures that you come up with your counselor, your therapist, they may fall to the wayside, because sometimes support systems are the reason people come in at a certain time, give themselves a curfew. Is the reason why people still try even though they don't want to. And they'll say, don't do this for anyone else, do it for yourself. But when you can acknowledge that you may not be strong enough to do it for yourself, well, as a counselor, I always say, I'll never judge what brought you to recovery. Because some people ready to recover after an overdose, and they come to their first group with the hospital band on. You see, shout out to my client who gave me this. I also want to say shout out to my nephew Osiris. I heard you've been rocking with me. That's what's up, Neff. Lone Wolf. I need to have you make me an instrumental or something, a unique one that I can use once I get better with my editing for the intro, whatever. You right though. I'm not gonna get off track. But relationships are effective in helping people in recovery stay healthy and increase their well-being. Healthy relationships bring out the best in both parties and are a safe space for their fears. Healthy relationships can help individuals struggling with addiction to avoid negative attachments to people who bring out the worst in them. Engaging in toxic relationships can create feelings of frustration, unnecessary stress, and conflict. So I'll read that again. Engaging in toxic relationships can create feelings of frustration, unnecessary stress, and conflict. So you staying in an unhealthy relationship too long, that could be the triggers that's triggering you to drink, to use, because those, let's be honest and clear for a second, drinking and using are coping skills. However, they are negative ones, because if your feelings feel better from dealing with somebody you probably should have been left alone, but you know your liver and your kidneys got to pay taxes on it, then that's not a fair exchange. So the value of healthy relationships. Healthy relationships are the ideal type of relationships most people strive for. They bring joy and support, encouraging the other's growth. Healthy relationships contain equality and comfort, ensuring each partner's hopes, dreams, and fears are respected. Communication and commitment are key to creating deep emotional bonds. So this, remember I said about getting a journal, about, taking notes. So this is the part where we get whatever we are taking notes with. And these healthy relationships are based on compatibility and common values. Along with, these are some key components of a healthy relationship if you don't know. Number 1, the first thing they have is mutual trust. Mutual trust. So if you don't trust a person as far as you throw them, that's not a healthy relationship. With all the cameras, always ring camera, air tags. If you got to do all that to be in a relationship, that's too much cloak and dagger right there. That's too much enemy of the state. And that's not a healthy relationship, because some people feel like, oh yeah, I heard, so-and-so doing this and she doing that. But sometimes you don't have to go through all of this to actually catch somebody red-handed and, have video proof so you can show your lawyer. That's like, some of that's a little too much. So number 1 is mutual trust. The second is mutual support. So that means you should not constantly have your hand out. Help me with this, help me with that. Can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? Because that's not mutual support. It also emotional. Somebody knowing, the anniversary to when this happened to you and the time that, this was a major milestone in your life. They know all your stuff, but you don't know nothing about them, or vice versa. You know all their stuff, but they don't know nothing about important times and dates in your life. So mutual support, that's a healthy relationship. Mutual thoughtfulness, somebody being kind and thoughtful. It's not always somebody's job to text you morning prayers and good morning and make you breakfast and all that. Eventually, you have to reciprocate that. You have to check on them. We always have these aunts and uncles and elders who want to call us and check on us, but they want you to check on them too. A person that makes you breakfast like breakfast too. They want you to either make them, and if you can't make one, if your eggs is not all that and it's going to be some shells and all that, you can always go get one. Go get a breakfast sandwich or something. They'll take care of that just as well. Mutual honesty. Mutual honesty is another component of a healthy relationship. Not finessing. Some people finesse and their character so much that they get stuck in that character. Like they say what happened to Tupac and Juice. And this dude been Bishop ever since. He was out in Vegas. So reciprocity. That is, whatever someone does for you, you do for them. It's mutual. It's a form of like mutual equity or equality. Like, it's not tilted. That's what them scales with my eye. Since y'all want to break down the breaks down so much, my eye, them scales is balance. It's not lopsided. Balance. When those scales are balanced, that identifies the common ground or the neutrality in whatever is being weighed. Effort. Valuable and healthy relationships have matching effort, respect, support, and encouragement. A healthy relationship is not full of somebody constantly putting you down and downing you. You're not a real woman. You're not a real man. But yet and still with you year in and year out. That's not a bad look. It's not a bad look when you constantly complaining about somebody and then you still, going to the movies with them or, going out to eat and doing Valentine's Day stuff and doing mass of nothing. And you go down there, act like you're going to get the timeshare and don't get it, but you get it 2 days or whatever. No, a healthy relationship, it has safety and security. Somebody, what's the song? And I don't like it, but it's Cardi B. I Feel Safe. She felt safe with Stephon Diggs. That's a whole nother group for a whole nother day, because that didn't age well. But a healthy relationship has safety and security. It has humor and playfulness. Nobody wants to be with a drill sergeant that's waiting for you to slip and constantly looking for crumbs and looking for oh, you didn't use a coaster and just looking for where you screwed up. No, that's not a good look. People will avoid you if you're like that. A healthy relationship has humor and playfulness. However, it is also a point in time to be serious. You can't get up and think you about to laugh at life every goddamn day, all day, and not be serious about nothing. If you know about, and we'll do a group on this, about roles and addiction, then that's the mascot role. Somebody that is scared to feel hurt and pain, so they just try to look at things to laugh at all damn day. Mutual tenderness, mutual compassion, and healthy boundaries. Healthy relationships allow for people to establish boundaries so everyone feels safe. Trust establishes respectful vulnerability, allowing for the relationship to progress in a healthy manner. If someone recovering from addiction does not trust their partner, they may hide progress of sobriety from their partner or feel they cannot be vulnerable about their sobriety. When people feel like they got to hide things from you, that's when they start to live a double life. And living a double life is hard enough to live one life. You out here trying to live two? That's how you could get double crossed. Now I want to identify, I would like to identify unhealthy relationships. So we probably don't need our pen and pad for this one because that's sad. We need the pen and pad to break down the healthy relationships. But the unhealthy, we know this like the back of our hand. So unhealthy relationships are toxic, consisting of various damaging or draining dynamics. Unhealthy relationships put pressure on someone using overly forceful means of attaining goals or subtle coercive means. Examples of ways selfish and toxic behaviors in relationships can manifest include, the number one, and they made the show Power, and everybody thinks Power is finessing because that's what all they do on Power. But the first one they have is manipulation. So, unhealthy relationship, the first, and the manipulation when you talking about addiction comes when somebody always $5 short for something. Or $10 short for, a kidney transplant. They got the other $79,483. They just need $10 from you. Also known, affectionately known on the street as a 10-speed or out the gate shot. Well, you don't even need 10 now. That's 2. That's for 2 people. Blame shifting. So anytime they run in the wrong, they might look wrong. It might smell wrong. It walk like a duck. It quack like a duck. But it's somebody else's fault. Guilt tripping. Making people feel like they are obligated. When a person makes you feel like you are obligated, because, sometimes people do you like that. You lend them money twice, and they drag their feet and take their time to pay you back. And so, but you don't want to do it the third time. They'll make you feel like you're obligated. Well, you gave me this money twice before. You did it before, so why you acting brand new? Where you learn such fancy words from? I can't say everything else. You're right, because I'm trying. Yeah, you're right. Self-absorption. Somebody who is always obsessed with them, always obsessed with their life. When they were in high school, they did this. When they had this job, they was making this much money. When they was out there selling drugs, they could have had anybody they wanted. Self-absorption, bullying, and intimidation, mental abuse, emotional abuse, which they say mental abuse, always yelling at somebody, playing mind game, emotional abuse, playing the victim, a constant victim. Nobody else can have a bad day because you have booked all the bad days from here until the end of time. I can't have a bad day. I broke my leg. I broke my leg in real life. I broke my leg. Oh man, that ain't nothing. I broke both my legs and was shot 4 times. And I'm still here. I'm still standing. Physical abuse, verbal abuse, financial abuse. You see all these different aspects of abuse. And one thing my sister Charisma Amira, mentioned, which is true. Substance abuse. That's you abusing yourself. That's a form and an aspect of you beating yourself up. Thank you for that breakdown. I did halfway know that, but the way you put that together, it made the little Christmas light bulb up there. It made that pop up. Financial abuse. Somebody wanting to take your money and spend it and keep theirs. You ever have somebody beg you for money? Oh man, I just need $4. I need $5, man. I'm broke. I ain't got nothing. You tell them like, oh man, I give you 5. But all I got is 20. Oh, I got change for 20. You got change for 20? Lack of respect. Stop entertaining people who don't respect you. Invasion of privacy and boundaries. Controlling. Somebody that's dominant. And somebody that's disrespectful and dismisses your emotions. Someone who is constantly isolating themselves. Some people come in, go straight to the room. They in the room all day doing Lord knows what. Talking, as soon as they had a little beer or something, now they want to come out, sing Keith Sweat, sing all these carols. You dropped a bomb on me, baby. For you, I do just a little bit, baby. For you, just a little bit. For you, just a little bit. But before they get that shot, they in a room, you know, Iran, all this doom and gloom. It's been the end of the world since I've been alive. It's been the end of the world, the seventh seal, the portals, all that knick-knack, paddywhack shit been going on since I've been alive. Put downs. An unhealthy relationship has put downs. You're not a real man. You're not a real woman. Females, women, stop telling men they not a real man. You should have relationships with people in your family and your uncles, your father, other men in your family should be checking a man. The same way, fellas. Stop telling your girl she's not a real woman. How do you know? You not a woman, so how do you know if she's not a real woman? And you can't just only base it off your mother. Because everybody look at their mother as a superhero and this and that. But I know women and mothers who walk around with panties and bra on around their kids. And it's some women, just because you do that in your house, they're not on that National Geographic shit in theirs. Lack of time. If you got a partner and you can't give them no time, you might not need no partner. Some people in relationships just to brag to their friends. Yeah, you know, my man, my man, my man. But your man ain't see you in how long? Y'all ain't do nothing in who knows what time or whatever? Or doing that to your girl? You want a girl when it's time for your clothes to be washed? And you want a girl when it's Sunday dinner, but it's getting warm at the door? It's getting warm at that door. So now having a girl gonna cramp your style? You want a per diem girl? A lack of fairness and equality. Relationship with these types of qualities can make someone feel anxious, depressed, or frustrated. An individual battling relationship stress can have secrets, use substances as an outlet for stress, hit each other, and dramatically threaten each other's well-being. An individual who already has pre-existing conditions like depression, bipolar disorder, and anxiety, unhealthy relationships will worsen those symptoms. Once the symptoms become worse, individuals may self-medicate and turn to substance abuse for support. The last point I would like to make in this, as far as relationships, codependency and unhealthy relationships. There are different types of unhealthy relationships directly related to addiction, like codependent and enabling relationships. Codependent relationships have positive intention to help loved ones in need. However, they may not have the boundaries that allow individuals sufficient independence to grow. Someone cannot learn how to live underneath your thumb, because your thumb, you not God. So them trying to live underneath your fingerprint, that's a doozy. It's not recommended, niece and nephew. It's dysfunctional, as it enables individuals with substance use disorders, careless life decisions, and toxic habits. So sometimes when you always there, you overdo it and there's no boundaries on it. Some people who suffer from problems and substance abuse feel like it's okay. I got so-and-so. They got a pooper scooper. They gonna help me clean this shit up. Codependents are often empathetic and caring people who wish to support their partners. However, codependents helping alcoholics and addicts may experience distress over their partner's condition. In some cases, the codependent may begin to drink or abuse to enable their partner's habit. So sometimes you get to complaining about something and eventually it's not a solo, it's a duet. Some people look at it as this is something that we can have in common. This is how we can spend time together. Think of extreme case, Bobby and Whitney. Codependents may suffer underlying conditions like depression or anxiety, losing their identity in their partner's life. You don't want to lose yourself in someone else's decisions and in someone else's habit. That's tough. So this was an informative group, I would say. They say in recovery, try not to get into a relationship, and they put time limits on things. If a relationship makes you a better man, if a relationship makes you a better woman, then I'm not going to tell you to do something that, could potentially improve yourself. I'll say this: make sure you are relationship material before you try to be in a relationship. Make sure you're wifey material before you want that. Make sure you're husband material before you want that. That's getting a cap and gown and graduating. So before you get that, make sure you're best friend material. We already went over the qualities of a best friend, and that was a pretty good group, got good reviews and all that. So make sure you're a good boyfriend. Make sure you're a good girlfriend or somebody, you compliment someone. You're not just getting in someone's life to drain their pockets and to complain, but then switch around and get, too busy and you ready to throw something on the grill. No, you got to realize you numbing yourself. You got your substance or whatever of choice. So just because you do that, now you in a better mood. The people who done heard you yelling and complaining all day, they didn't have a beer to let that go. So your sons, your daughters, your neighbors, your cousins, your aunts and uncles, they may still hold on to the stuff. And because life is so hard, it's no longer, somebody, a man and a woman in their house and they kids all the way in Seattle, Washington, somewhere. Now you got a house full of people. And just because you grown don't mean you could be disrespectful. If you y'all deep in a house, communication, healthy boundaries, that's what's gonna make y'all get through that the best way y'all can. And we always say as black people, how come Latinos and Mexicans and all these people could live in a house and that's because nobody's in there fighting over the master bedroom. But whoever the biggest bathroom, we arguing over that. The biggest shower, the best parking spot. Come on now. Oh, this only me. That's the type of stuff we get down like that. We all gonna pay the same amount, but somebody else gotta be getting one up on somebody else for it to make some type of sense. Okay, all right. You know what time it is. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Keep coming back. More will be revealed for you, by you. You will get stronger. You will get better. You will live a life better than the one people expect you to live. You will start to surprise yourself. And you'll start to put yourself together. Remember, become a member again. Get that straight. Do it. Do it for yourself. Do it for your children. Do it for your grandchildren. Do it for the hope of a better tomorrow. Regardless how dark today may be. And yes, a lot of this is easier said than done, but that doesn't mean it can't be done. Let's focus on getting things done. Because, some people, you give them a solution, they just give you another problem. You give them a solution to that, they just give you another problem. I had to tell somebody, your addiction is being a problem stater. The problem with that is, I'm not addicted to solving problems, especially not my own. I give advice, encouragement, upliftment, but soon as I give you a possible solution, you come in with another problem, say it ain't so, Joe. We got a mystery shopper in here. All right, you're right. We're gonna leave on here. If you like today's message, please leave me a comment. It helps inspire and encourage me to incorporate more in what it is that I know, which helps me help even more people. God bless you, and see you on the next episode.